Hey, welcome to third video in Selenium with Python. In this video, we are going to talk about how to use Eclipse IDE for writing your Selenium scripts. So this is an optional video and it is mainly intended for those users who are already comfortable with Eclipse IDE. So in this video, we'll see how to configure our Eclipse and what plugin do we need to install in order to start Python scripts writing. So what I have here is Eclipse Luna, and this is mainly intended for Java, but I'm going to set it up for Python. So let's open Eclipse, and once it launches we will need a plugin named PyDev. So that is the plugin we need to install. So name of the plugin is PyDev. That is an Eclipse plugin for writing Python code and having been able to compile and run or interpret the Python code. So let's go ahead to this help menu and we say Eclipse Marketplace. So in Marketplace it will take a while to search for all the available plugins. So once this search is over, we will be able to type the name of our plugin here and we will be searching that in all the markets. So whatever plugin we are searching for, that will be listed here, that will be searched and made available to us. So it will take one more while. Yeah, so now it has come. So let's do PyDev, enter. So now it's going and searching in Marketplace for PyDev plugin. And as we can see, the first one, which is Python IDE for Eclipse 4.1.0, that is what is latest as of today. So let's go ahead, select it and install. So what Eclipse does, it looks out for all the features on which PyDev is dependent. So this is one plugin, it will have dependency on one or more additional features. So that is what Eclipse resolves automatically. So now it has figured out there are two things that it needs for PyDev, and with that we can confirm it. Another thing to keep in mind is whenever we install a plugin in Eclipse, Eclipse requires us to restart it, because when we restart Eclipse, then it loads all the newly installed plugins and we will be all set to create a Python project and to add files to it and compile, run it and debug it. So now it is asking us to accept the license agreement. So there are two things, so let me go to both of them and accept it. Okay, and let's say finish. So once we say finish, it starts installing the plugin that we have requested it to install, and at the bottom we can see it is showing us the progress. So right now the progress is 5%, it moved up to 26, and it will take a short while to get it installed. So it is downloading and installing certain dependencies. So while it is installing, we can talk about one more point. So last video we had written our first Python script, and in that Python script we had used a print function. So this print function in 3.0 they have made it like a function, and that's where we write a message. So in case you are using Eclipse 2.6 or 2.7, Python 2.6 or Python 2.7, their printf wasn't function. Print used to be written like this, and that is what the difference between 3.4. This is 3.4 syntax, and that's the future syntax for Python, and this is what used to be the old syntax. So there are a lot of programs written as of today which use the old syntax. So both of them are supported in Python. But Python community, they have stopped developing the 2.0 versions for the time being. So now the complete focus, new features are being added to 3.4. So in case you are doing Eclipse Python programming for the first time, I will recommend you to directly use 3.4 so that you can be more future focused rather than working with legacy code. So now it gives us a security warning that this is unsigned content. That's fine, we will say OK to it and we'll proceed. and we see the installation has completed, and it is asking us to restart Eclipse so that these changes can take effect. So we will say yes, and automatically Eclipse will be closed and restarted. So now when Eclipse reloads, it will have UI support for creating Python projects, and we will be able to write our first Python script, and we will be able to debug our Python script. So Eclipse plugin may need one more thing from us. It may need from us to suggest it where the Python is installed. So let's see. So Eclipse has launched, so we go to File, New, and here right now we are not seeing any Python project. So what we need to do, we need to go to Other, and in Other, when we go, we will see PyDev is there, and if we open that, we can see it allows us to create Python project. So it's a PyDev project. So let's go ahead and say next, and let's give it a name that this is first Python project, or let's name it as SWP, Selenium with Python, and since this is video 3, so let's name it as SWP3. So now it is saying please configure an interpreter before proceeding. So let us say it's a 3.0, and we click here and we say quick auto config. So let's see if it detects automatically. So I think it has found the interpreter that it needs to install, or it is still configuring. Another option was we could have picked the manual configuration, to which we would have told like Python is installed in C directory, so it's in C, Python 3.4, so that is where the Python is installed for us. So right now that is what Eclipse is doing. It is trying to figure out automatically. So it figured out the interpreter, and we say allow access. Yep. So that should be good enough. So we say next, and we say finish. So let's open a perspective which is more suited for Python development. So that's where we are. So we have our project created, and we can see it automatically figured out C Python 3.4 python.exe. That's where it is installed. So now let's right click and add our first Python script. So here we right click and we say we want to add, let's go with other right now, and in Python we can see what we are actually going to create is a PyDev &module. So any script in Python, it's called a module, and we have option to specify our packages. So let me use in.being0 as the package name, and let's give the name to our program as hello world program. So we say finish, and we say yes to it, and we'll see we have created our first program. So we'll say show later. Okay, so now we have our first Python program that we are writing here. So let's go and say print, and in print we can write hello Python, and next line let's say print I am starting with Eclipse PyDev. So that is just a 2-line script that we are writing. Now the way to run this script would be, we will right click it, say run as, and we can say Python run. So when we run it, we see the output is coming. Okay, there is some spelling mistake, so we correct it. I'm starting with Eclipse PyDev. So this is just an alternative IDE to use for Python development, and we also have the same flexibility as we had in PyCharm to debug it. So we can double click here, that becomes a breakpoint. We double click again to remove the breakpoint. So in case we set a breakpoint, we can right click here always, and we can go to, rather than run as, we can go to debug as. So main functions are exactly the same in both the IDEs. So now it's a matter of personal choice which IDE you prefer. Rest of the video series you can follow along with whichever IDE you prefer. So what we are going to use is the PyCharm, because that's a specialized IDE for Python, but Eclipse was covered just for the sake of completedness, so that people who are more comfortable with Eclipse, they should be able to proceed with Eclipse. So that's the end of this video. See you in the next video.